What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So Super Wildcard Weekend, the first weekend of the NFL playoffs, is officially in the books. And while I was hoping for 6 great games, I think we only got one with Rams-Lions, and the other 5 games, well, at least it sets up a good divisional round, which is what this video is all about. I think all 6 of the teams that advanced, albeit 5 of the 6 games not being incredibly close, I think all 6 winners deserve to win, definitely. A lot of the games were one-sided, and I think all the teams remaining are playing some of, if not their best football of the season, which I think sets up 4 really interesting divisional games with some really good headlines. I think all the games are unique, and all the games have potential to be really, really good. So that's what this video is all going to be all about. We're going to be breaking down each of the 4 divisional matchups, and I'm going to be giving my prediction on who I think is going to advance from each game and get to the conference championship. So definitely, guys, make sure to comment who you think will win each matchup and the 4 remaining teams that will be in the conference championship games. As you all probably know, I'm not great with predictions. As you can tell from my wild card / full NFL playoff bracket from last week, I went 3 for 3, which is just okay. But the worst part is I had Rams and Cowboys as my NFC championship. If I had a piece of paper here, I could crumple it up and throw it in the trash to represent my NFC bracket, but that's okay. That's part of the beauty of football and sports. Obviously, these games can be unpredictable, so definitely comment your predictions, guys. And without further ado, let's get into these matchups. So how about the Houston Texans? Who would have thought they'd be here? With a rookie coach in DeMeco Ryans and a rookie QB, it didn't matter. Both of them are great. They're both stars. And here are the Texans. They won the AFC South, went 10-7 in the regular season, and they just destroyed the Cleveland Browns, who had a great defense. Didn't matter for the Texans. They beat them 45-14. CJ Stroud, unfazed by playoff pressure or the actual pressure that the Cleveland Browns, we thought they had pressure. Didn't matter. He just lit up that defense, despite them being ranked in a lot of categories among the top teams. But here they are, second straight week facing an AFC North opponent. This time, though, it will be a much tougher test in Baltimore against a Super Bowl aspiring Ravens team. Lamar Jackson, in all likelihood, will win his 2nd MVP as he had a great season. The Ravens are just such a balanced team overall. They're the best scoring defense, and a lot of people would argue the best defense overall. And then their offense is very, very good, very balanced. With Lamar passing the ball, especially downfield, better than he ever has. The Ravens have probably more weapons than they've had in a long time. Even though they still don't have that number 1 receiver that can destroy you, they have so many good weapons. They might have Mark Andrews back this week, but Isaiah Likely has been a really good tight end in his absence. They obviously have Zay Flowers, Odell, they have Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, so they have a lot of capable pass catchers, a balanced passing attack, and obviously they always have a good rushing attack with Lamar Jackson once again leading them in rushing. They have Gus Edwards, they have Justice Hill, they have Dalvin Cook now, so I'm curious to see if he's active for this game. I think he should be, or else why would they pick him up? But yeah, the Ravens can beat you in a million ways. This game will be cold in Baltimore. Below freezing temperatures is what the forecast currently is at the time of making this video on a Wednesday night. So the Ravens, it makes total sense that they're favored. The Texans defense is better than you might think. They're 10th in total points allowed. They have a very good rush defense. They're 6th in rushing yards allowed, but I don't think that's going to stop the Ravens from doing their thing. I think the biggest concern with the Ravens is exercising their own demons, especially Lamar Jackson, because this isn't the first time Lamar's been the 1 seed, and it's not the first time he was the MVP that season, which he was in the 2019 season, where the Ravens were the 1 seed, and a similar scenario. They have the MVP on their team, which, again, I think Lamar's going to win, but the mistake they made, I think, that season was they rested their starters 2 weeks in a row. They rested them through the wild card round because they had the 1 seed clinched, and then they rested them the last week. The only concern is, do the Ravens come out rusty just like they did that year when they faced the Titans, who came in rolling? They just beat the Patriots. Titans came in as the 6th seed. They got off to a hot start, never looked back that game. So that's the question. Have the Ravens matured? Will they be rusty? Will Lamar be able to exercise his playoff demons? He hasn't been the greatest playoff performer. So those are the questions facing the Ravens, I think, the most, is the pressure on them to not be rusty with all the expectations they have this year. Not not too many excuses. So this is the year that they can go and win the Super Bowl, but they're definitely expected to with not much less than that. So I kind of went back and forth, believe it or not, on this game because the Texans remind me of the Packers this year of the AFC. They're a young team with a first-year starting quarterback who looks like he's going to be an absolute superstar, already is a star, with not a lot to lose or not a lot of pressure because they've already far exceeded expectations. So I think the Texans are just going to go in there and they're going to have some fun. I think CJ Stroud is still going to be able to pass the ball pretty well, even though the Ravens have a really good defense. I don't think you can stop a great quarterback like CJ Stroud completely. So I think there will be some scoring in this game. It's not like it's going to be terrible weather. So I think it might be kind of back and forth. Maybe the Texans start off with a little lead in the beginning. It'll be back and forth. Both teams will put points on the board, but ultimately, I just think the Ravens are the more balanced team. I think it's time for them to win their first playoff game. I don't see them repeating what they did in 2019, being a one and done. I think the Ravens are just too good for the Texans. I think top to bottom, their offensive and defensive lines will put enough pressure, do enough for the Ravens to win at home. And a young Texans team with a rookie QB, it's hard to get to the AFC Championship. So even though Lamar and the Ravens haven't proven that they can get to an AFC Championship, I think this year they've proven that they're too good of a team to lose to the Texans, who I just think will fall a little bit short. So I say the Ravens win this one 31-24 because rushing, passing, top to bottom, their defense, all of it's going to factor in, and I just don't think the Texans have enough to counteract the Ravens attack enough to win at least. So Ravens 31-24 over Texans. They get to the AFC title game. All right, so we move on to our second game, which is Packers and 49ers. This is the night game on Saturday. So the Packers and 49ers is kind of like the Texans and Ravens. You have the young, fun team with the first-year quarterback that is going to be a star in all likelihood, playing great right now, defying expectations against the one seed in the conference that has built up this team top to bottom, offense and defense, a powerhouse of a team with Super Bowl expectations in the 49ers. So the 49ers have the better defense. They have the experience. They have the weapons with Purdy and McCaffrey in the backfield, who will get some MVP votes. He was the best running back in the sport this year. You have Ayuk, Debo, Kittle catching passes. While the Packers, they may not have the star power of the 49ers, but they have a bunch of first and second year receivers out there just having fun, catching passes. They can beat you in a lot of ways through the air. I mean, they don't have one receiver to go to, but that can also make them tough to defend because every week it could be someone else. Not to mention their rushing attack, which has been playing its best this year with Aaron Jones having 4 straight games of over 110 yards. He destroyed the Cowboys. The Packers are playing with house money right now. They don't have a ton of pressure on them. Jordan Love over the last 9 games, including against the Cowboys, 21 touchdown passes, 1 interception, which is just ridiculous. But Brock Purdy and the 49ers have had a great year overall, obviously. Other than the loss to the Ravens on Christmas night, they did not lose a single game in which Brock Purdy, Trent Williams, Debo Samuel started and basically having all their key players. They only lost 1 game, and it was to the Ravens. So the question is for the 49ers, I think the thing that could beat them is them being either rusty and or the pressure of winning the Super Bowl or not living up to the pressure of being a Super Bowl contender. I think the thing with the Packers that can help them the most is the thing that can hurt the 49ers the most. It's the lack of pressure on the Packers. They're having fun, house money. Nobody thought they'd be here. Even if they lose right now, they're going to say Jordan Love has an incredible future. This team has an incredible future, and they will be back. And in this season, in the 2023 season, where it's been so unexpected, hard to predict, and me being bold, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to pull off the upset at Levi and win this game because I just think with the momentum they have from beating the Cowboys, they're going to come out they're just going to come out swinging, the Packers are. They're going to play reckless in the good way. They don't have that pressure on them. They can just go out and have fun. With the way they've been playing, the reckless way they can play without having all those expectations, I think that's going to be a dangerous formula for the 49ers, who have not done a great job in stopping the pass recently. Overall, they're 13th in passing yards allowed. I'm not going to pretend like the Packers are a great defense in their own right, especially not with their rushing defense. McCaffrey and the 49ers could do very well against that defense. But I just think the Packers, with how they're rolling, the youth of this team, it's a fun team that you want to root for, unless you're a 49ers fan, of course. So I'm going to go with the Packers. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to go with one of the 1 seeds to go down. I wouldn't be completely shocked if both the Texans and Packers win. I went back and forth on both of those games, but ultimately, I believe in Jordan Love. I believe in the momentum the Packers have built. This is a very fun team to root for. It's a fun team to watch. So I'm just going to say it. Packers go into Levi Stadium. They win. They get to the NFC Championship. So this Bucs-Lions game in Detroit, it's pretty fun because these two teams are not good pass defenses at all. These two teams allow a ton of air yards, but both of these quarterbacks are great stories. Former #1 picks that got another chance with their new teams right now. Both of them won their first round games. So I think we can expect a high scoring passing game between two really good quarterbacks that have revitalized their careers on their new teams. So these two teams have poor passing defenses and good rushing defenses. And these are two quarterbacks that air it out a lot. And this is an indoors game with no weather affecting it. So I think this will probably go one of one ways. I think we can expect at least a somewhat high-scoring game, a fun game between two teams with two quarterbacks that have really great stories. It's just going to be a fun game. They're going to go at it, lots of passing. I would go over on Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield's passing yards, which might set up a future video, maybe tomorrow, about prize picks. We'll see. But yes, I expect a fun passing game, high-scoring game. I would take the over on the spread, or the over. The spread's -6.5 Lions. The over-under is 48.5. I would take the over. I think it's going to be back and forth down to the wire, but ultimately I think the Lions are the slightly better team. I like the fact that they're at home with that incredible crowd that will try to propel them to their first NFC Championship game since 1991. So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions to win this game by a final score of 31-30. I say they win on a walk-off field goal. This is a fun one, guys. It's probably the game that I overthought the least, if that makes sense, because I don't think it was too hard for me to predict what this game is going to be like. Just a passing game, high scoring, back and forth. I say Lions win on a game-winning field goal, just to be bold, 31-30. So our last game is the Chiefs and Bills. What a game this could end up being in Mahomes versus Allen Part 3 in the playoffs. Obviously, the first two times Mahomes won, both times were in Arrowhead. Actually, the last 5 games have been in Arrowhead, but this time, the Bills being the 2 seed in the AFC over the 3-seeded Chiefs, they get this game in Buffalo at Orchard Park. So Josh Allen here has a chance to win his first playoff game against Patrick Mahomes. So anytime a game is in Buffalo, you probably want to check the weather because it could factor into the game. The weather for this matchup is projected to have a low of around 19 and a high of 24-ish, so it won't be as cold or as windy as it was last game for the Bills when they played the Steelers. It is expected to snow in the days before, but the day of, it's not expected to snow, or at least not that much. So these are two elite defenses. Both the Bills and Chiefs are top 4 in points allowed. Their pass defenses are both top 7 in terms of yards allowed. Both middle of the pack in rushing defense, but overall, they're both very, very good defenses. Both improved defenses from the last time the Chiefs played the Bills in the playoffs. Guys, at the end of the day, I don't see how this isn't setting up to be a classic game and a battle between these two teams. The difference between these two teams facing off this time and the last time they played each other in the playoffs is that both defenses are definitely better. So maybe we do have more sacks, more takeaways, lower scoring, but I think both quarterbacks will have the opportunity to make plays, because if you're a truly great quarterback, like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, of course, they're going to make plays despite the defense they're playing. So I think it's going to be a back and forth, close game, dogfight with defensive plays as well. But I think ultimately, because this time they're at home, they've been playing better, I think Josh Allen finds a way to make an extra play or two. The Bills overall find a way to squeak one out against the Kansas City Chiefs this time, and they will move on to the AFC Championship. I have the Bills winning 24-20 in a game that I think will also be remembered, just like the last time these two teams faced off. So the Buffalo Bills get to the AFC Championship, in my opinion. All right, guys, so those are my divisional round predictions. I have a Ravens-Bills conference championship in the AFC and an NFC championship between the Packers and Lions. So guys, comment your opinions. Let me know who you have facing off in the conference championship games. Who wins each matchup? Give me your final score as well. Any predictions, bold predictions, I want to hear them all. Love to hear them. Like the video if you enjoyed, guys. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. You're a football fan, NFL fan. We make NFL content, definitely, especially at this time of year during the playoffs. So hopefully, guys, the divisional round goes a little better than the wild card round in terms of the closeness and excitement of the games. I think it will. I think we have 4 really good matchups on hand. I hope you guys enjoy them. I definitely will. I'll be glued to the TV. I hope we have 4 absolute classics. So let's see what happens, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you all in the next one.